24 hours have gone past.
Yes.
Dare I ask what's changed? Things have calmed down. It's cold like a day. I suppose you need to think, how have people recovered, and how do you reflect as well on, what was a big day?
Yes, of course. For days like this, for games like this, we have worked so hard in the past 2 years in order to be allowed to play games on Premier League level against this teams, and overall, although it was perhaps football-wise not our best performance, but definitely a solid and reliable competitive performance, was also pretty close to win all 3 points. But a point is definitely also a valuable point against Man United, and we had to point closer to what we want to achieve during the season. Thank God, no new injury concerns. Also important news after such a competitive game. And right now we try to recover smart and also to prepare quick turnaround again to be ready then for Wednesday evening at Newcastle.
So with these couple of days then, Sean Longstaff was back in the mix at the weekend. Yeah, is it feasible to think that he could be playing a part against the side that he did so well against back in August, didn't it, in the Bogle draw and Mechelen?
Yes, with Sean, if I'm honest, initially my plan was to involve him the first time for the FA Cup game, because he was out for 6 weeks or even more, slightly more than 6 weeks. And normally I like to have a player at least after such a long-term injury, a full week of training. But Sean is an important player for us, not just on the pitch, but also off the pitch, and to have his maturity and his personality in the dressing room, especially once a few other key players are out, is always important. And for him, each and every day on the training pitch is beneficial. So at the moment we don't have really a proper team training, because also today we have of course split a bit more into 2 groups. One group a bit more recovery session and the others a bit more load on the pitch. And of course he was involved in the group on the pitch with a bit more load, and it was another important session also for him. But it's rarely an opportunity at the moment to do some tactical work with a whole team. For that, it's a bit tricky, but let's see who is available. So Isna Badu will come back, which is quite important. Also in a similar position like Sean would feature for us, and yes, perhaps also a chance to be involved in the squad again, and definitely not for 90 minutes. Also, definitely not in the starting lineup. But perhaps for a few minutes, we'll take some late decisions, depending also who is really available after this last game and who is not.
The one player I've been asked about the most since the weekend is Jayden Bogle. Not only about his calf injury and how that's doing 25 on, but also, making sure that he stays at Leeds United as well, because lots of people have been saying, "Oh no, is he going?" Well, my view would be, or the perception is, that you want to keep hold of your best players. So can you allay any fears that he will still be here?
It's genuine. And this time of the year, there are always some rumors or whatever, though, but no one has to be concerned. Jayden Bogle was our player, is our player, and will be our player. So he will definitely stay with us. He's an important player for us. It's not even a topic we have to speak about. So makes no sense. We just hope that he recovers pretty quick from his calf injury. So what I can confirm is that Joe Rodon and Jayden Bogle were also today not in team training, so they were doing individual work in their rehab work, but they're edging closer. Both are making good progress. If the Newcastle game comes too soon, or there is still a possibility to involve them somehow, we will see. We have at least 2 more days where they could perhaps or potentially return back to team training, and if they would both would return, then they would even have a chance to be involved. But at the moment, it's perhaps more realistic that they are not ready for this game, but definitely then on the other side of the FA Cup fixture. And we still have a bit hope that, perhaps one of them is perhaps able to support us also in Newcastle.
In Dan James's progress, is that going as planned?
Yes, he's to plan. I think at the moment he's around 2 weeks away from team training, and this is then the first step. So we expect him in 2 weeks, at least around this date, then back in team training, and then we will see how quick he's then available for the games.
Newcastle United have got back to sort of winning ways, and it's been weird. They won a trophy last year, and then there's disquiet amongst the fans, and now they've got back to winning a couple of games, having a poor run. I'm trying to get my head around what sort of club they are at the moment? And what's your take on where they're at and what approach?
Yes, for me also one of the top teams in this league. Eddie Howe is doing overall a fantastic job. So they have qualified for Europe, for important competition, and and it's very often then once you qualify for a top competition, like for example the Champions League, then if you do this for the first time, and then it's always difficult to have the same standard then really with unbelievable consistency. Also in the league, just Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, and all the teams who are used to play always on Champions League level are capable to handle this, especially once you do it for the first or second time. It's quite normal. I think that in the league, you could struggle a little bit with consistency, but this is also like speaking about fine margins. So for me, there are also contenders to fight for Europe, also in the league again, to fight even for the Champions League again. Back-to-back wins, very impressive home record, top players, a top coach. So for me, it's one of the big names in this league and one of the top sides, and they have all chances also to finish in a very similar position to where they finished last season. But with all this respect and all the praise, we won't make it easy on Wednesday. We want to go there, and we know what a difficult place Newcastle is to go there. They are there with a very impressive home record, but we are also in a good shape, and we travel also there with good confidence and want to be again difficult to play against.
And just finally, you won't have missed it, but there's a few managers who've lost their job just lately, whether it be Chelsea, whether it be Ruben after yesterday's game, and now just before you walked in, Celtic have sacked Nancy as well. So how much does this industry have the capacity to shock you anymore?
No, in this industry and this business, I'm working quite long in it as a player, and meanwhile also since 17 or 18 years as a manager, nothing shocks me anymore. So of course you feel always with one of your colleagues when someone loses his job, and the thoughts are then always with them. But it's a bit like the development in the society nowadays. So patience in society and also in football runs thin, and it seems like the decisions are there quicker and quicker. I will concentrate and mind my own business, and so I wouldn't expect anyone from the outside world to comment what we are doing here at Leeds United. And so for that I fully respect also what Man United or Chelsea or Celtic is doing, and for that there are no comments in this direction from my side. But of course you feel then for the colleagues once they lose their jobs, and wish them really just all the best, because some of them, them a bit more. So especially with Enzo, Ruben at several meetings, I can say that they're really, really good persons. It was always a joy to see them and to have a conversation. For them, also top managers, because otherwise you wouldn't be so successful. You wouldn't show up on Premier League level. Ruben with unbelievable success also in Portugal, and I think both clubs, Chelsea and Man U, lose really, really good persons, at least as far as I can judge it, and also really good managers. But I'm far away from doing any comments anyhow, because I'm too far away, and I mind my own business here.
Thank you.
Hi Daniel, good to see you. Just a little bit more on Newcastle, of course, who have been suffering with their own injuries over the last couple of months. A lot of returnees, though, for them now. When you look at the Newcastle that you faced at home back in August, what new challenges are you expecting on Wednesday?
Still a very, very competitive team. Still a team who always plays with lots of physicality, lots of intensity, high tempo in their game. High quality players also in the offense, and also addition in the offense with a German fella, Nick Woltemade, who had an impressive start to life here on Premier League level. So for me, really a top side, and especially Newcastle in the home game, they always seem to play even more competitive and with highest intensity. So it will definitely be a difficult task, but we've shown us also that in difficult surroundings we are capable to deliver performance, and if we deliver performance, then we have a chance also to win points wherever we go.
You did mention it yesterday, and of course with the team news that you've updated us with today, there will be maybe some last minute decisions to make ahead of Wednesday. But when you look at the streak that you guys have been on and the form that you've shown, How much confidence does the adaptability that your team's shown give you looking at this game?
Yes, of course, it gives lots of confidence, and everyone is in a good mood, and we know that we have done really, really well against also top sides and big names in the recent weeks, and gives also the confidence to be capable to go to another difficult place and to show performance and also deliver a result even there. But there's also no reason to not to stay humble or to lose the ground under our feet. We know that also in this away game we are the underdogs as the promoted side, and the first thing we have to do is also like to be rock solid in our structure, to invest a lot, to go physically again over the line in order to show again great mentality, great resilience, great fighting spirit. And if we show this basics, then also to show our football class and also to stick to our believings there. I think we can even play better football than we did, especially in the first half against Man United. And with this balance, then we would be in a good place also to have a chance at Newcastle.
And of course, despite the recent run of form that you guys have had, it does seem that you guys are struggling just to claim those 3 points away from home. What is it that you put that down to? And I guess the importance of you guys staying in the Premier League, climbing the table, which I know you wish to do, and how important will changing that be?
I think it's for each and every team. If you have a look in the FA to the away records, it's always more difficult to win points on the road in comparison to at home. I think for Newcastle, the same. You always feel a bit more secure, though it's the same game and the same rules, but with the home support and without traveling, you always feel more confident. And we know it also from Elland Road, how difficult it is also for away teams to go away there with the result. I think it's more or less for each and every team very, very similar, but we also take lots of encouragement from our last away performances. We had really, really good away games at Sunderland, at Liverpool, and at Brentford. Also, since a while, unbeaten also on the road, and we want to show this side of our game again. And of course, would always prefer 3 points over 1 point, but sometimes, especially on the road, you also have to live with 1 point, and we want to make sure that we also have something in our hands once we travel back to Leeds.
Hi Daniel. When you've had this kind of schedule, you've gone to Liverpool and exhausted yourselves and then have Manchester United, what does recovering smart, as you call it, what's it look like exactly between the two games?
First of all, in the way professional, because the players during this type of schedule, they have to have a look even more after their body in terms of nutrition, in terms of sleep, also what we do to support the recovery process, and like ice bath and cryo, and so each and every club does this meanwhile, but also smart decisions in what we do on the training pitch, because you hardly have time to prepare for the next opponent, and of course you want to give. You are tempted to give lots of inputs, more or less, into the heads, and also to train a bit tactically on the pitch, but not to overdo this and to overload the players, not physically, and also not with information about the next opponent. So during these times, we try to reduce it to the absolute minimum, what we put into the heads of the players. And of course, you could speak 6 hours about what Newcastle does with the ball, and also 6 hours what they do against the ball. But if I would do so, I think the head would be too full in order to be able to deliver a performance anyhow. And for that, you have to be smart in what you concentrate on, what you give the messages, and also concentrate on what you really do on the training pitch without overloading the players, so that they're still also fresh and sharp. And sometimes you have to more or less put some shackles around your hands as a manager, what you normally would do with them. So I think it's important also there to be there with some what I would call smart decisions anyhow. And but if I'm honest, in this turnaround, I'm not too concerned, because last time it was Liverpool away, and then you travel home, and we were just back at Thorpe Arch here around midnight, and then the players don't sleep before 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. This time around, we had, at least yesterday, they were at a reasonable time at home. They had a proper sleep. Also today, tomorrow, proper sleep. and we have more or less 80 hours between the games due to a later kickoff. So and I'm not too concerned about this turnaround. Of course, the sum of the load of the games is a bit exhausting for the players, but we don't moan too much about this turnaround, especially because Newcastle has this time around also the same. So I think the last game was a bit more tricky, also having in the head that Man United had 2 more days to recover anyhow. This time around, no complaints and also no excuses anyhow. We should be on the same level like Newcastle also will be.
I remember last season around this time of year, I remember you saying that Paul Tanaka wasn't used to the schedule and it was difficult to adapt. How do you think the new recruits from this summer that are new to English football are finding, or what are they telling you about the way they're finding the intensity of the schedule and the games?
Yes, it's still tricky when I think about whatever my German fella Anton Stach. So normally he was used to celebrate Christmas at home and then New Year's Eve, and also in Germany, just you play on the last weekend before Christmas, and then you spend the Christmas period at home or on holiday and little holiday, and you have more or less a little break of 9 or 10 days before you start back in training. And here the real life really starts just around Christmas. It's of course a bit special, and you have to keep in mind that this young lads are also no robots anyhow. So normally he's used to spend his time with the family, with his mom and dad and brothers, sisters at home. And right now he's more or less abroad, and it's more tricky anyhow. So also to see his family. But I always tell them, so they work in such a privileged environment and are privileged to work as professional football players, and just can take all the good positive things. So sometimes you also have to pay a little bit of price, and for the few years that you are capable to play on this level and you're allowed to play football on Premier League level, you should value this and also enjoy this. And Anton, for example, is also enjoying this. Of course, they have to look during this period a bit more after their body than they would normally do, like I mentioned, in Germany or in Italy or in France or whatever. But I quite like how also our new signings with a good mentality and a great character have also adapted to the intensity and also the schedule of English football. And so far, I don't see any signs of tiredness or that they're not ready to go. So thank God we also don't have the number of games like we had on championship level. That also helps. Although I have to say this festive period was of course pretty busy, and we're also looking forward to have then hopefully soon a bit more like a normal week again. Yes.
Hi Daniel. I know you don't like to rotate the goalkeeper order too much, if at all, to be honest. But how secure is the number 1 spot at the moment? Because you've got a really good backup in Carl. And some fans have expressed a few worries about Lucas. So what are how secure is the number 1 spot at the moment, basically?
Yes, like for all the other players, it's the same. You have to deliver performances, and then you keep your spot. So there's no one has his name for granted on the team sheet. But on the other side, also in general, it doesn't make sense to rotate more or less after each every better or poorer performance or training performance. You do this naturally, of course, more on the outfield player position. Otherwise, you would end up in chaos. But it's not even a topic we have to speak about right now. Yes, we've spoken quite open and honest about that Lucas Bossea definitely not with the best decision for the goal of Man United, and I think it's important to be open and transparent about and not like to hide between the fact. But on the other hand, we are right now seven games unbeaten. We had a great clean sheet at Liverpool, and Lucas also played this part in this unbeaten run, also in this clean sheet, and he was, for example, also there and against Man United with a really good save in the first half. But I think, especially during this period, anyhow, then it's also even more than possible also to speak self-critical about what you can improve. That's for us what I mentioned yesterday. I think football-wise, we could even improve in comparison to our first half yesterday. And it's the same like also for him. I like when a player then holds his hand up and said, okay, was the wrong decision? Anyhow, because there is a space for improvement, and that's more or less the case for that. It's not a topic we even have to speak about today.
Sure. I'm not going to ask you about Ruben and Amorim because I appreciate you've already spoken about it. It does seem from the outside like there was a bit of a rift when it came to transfers. In general, how important is it for managers to have a significant sway on transfer dealings and for it not just to be solely about the board and decisions just on their end?
It always depends on what you have spoken about before you signed the contract. I think we have, for example, with my German background, we have also several models in Germany when you work purely as a head coach and there is more or less even a sporting director who is responsible more or less for the transfers. And you have to adapt a little bit to the decisions of the sporting director. If this is a model, you know it even before, and then you sign a contract under these circumstances, or you sign more or less a contract as a manager, and then it's important that you have more or less the last say and the last word. But I can't judge what has agreed or spoken before in other clubs, and I also wouldn't comment it, and I also don't speak about what is the best model or what is the best case for each and every club in which country. I just can speak about how I like to work and what is for me important. And for me, the most important thing is in general that the key people in the club, they have to be on the same page. They need to have the same view on things, and they need to go into the same direction. And if this is the case, and there are clear processes that are spoken about, and everyone adapts to it, then you have a good chance. So for me, it's just clubs will be successful when really there is just a small amount of people really in charge to give the direction, because it makes no sense to have 30 people around who all have an idea, and then you always have to have a round table, and then you ask too many questions and everyone has other ideas. So I believe in a small group of key people, and nowadays it's also not a one-man show anymore. So it's important also that you are capable to work also in a team, but within the team you need clear processes, clear responsibilities, and most important is that you are all on the same page. And if this is the case, then you have a chance as a club to be successful. And if not, if you go into different directions, then it's also difficult to be successful. This is my general attitude to this topic.
Thank you.
Hi Daniel. Going back to the run of defeats up to the City game, including the City game, how much of your players surprised you during this unbeaten run? And is your team at full tilt, or can the fans expect that there's more to come?
To be honest, I'm not surprised at all, because I always knew that we were capable to deliver also such a consistency in terms of performances. Nevertheless, it's impressive, because as a promoted side, to have 7 unbeaten games on Premier League level, I'm not sure, but I haven't checked it anyhow, but I think it's not that often that this has happened. So for that, it's impressive and also remarkable, but not surprised, because even the games before, with so many competitive performances, and we were very often really unlucky not to have better results, and very often we won each every statistic, just the only statistic. Sadly, it's the only statistic that matters anyhow. It's more like the score line, and we were a bit unlucky then also to lose this game. So there was during the whole season just one game where I think, okay, we have to hold our hands up. Anyhow, there was just one team who was clearly better than us. That was Arsenal away, first away game of the season. So for that, it didn't came as a surprise. We were not there with the perfect game yet, and for that there's always more to come. We had many good performances. Also yesterday, so the goal was avoidable. I think we could have played better in possession, and for that it's also like we even spoke even today about also self-critical, that there is more to come and we can play better football. But it's also important that we see also the whole picture and don't lose the ground under our feet. So it's not like right now, after 7 games unbeaten, so we have to speak about whatever straight away about Europe or something like this. So we are on a really good path. We are very happy with the status quo. We are very happy that we develop also in the right direction. It's important also not to get carried away. And if we can deliver this type of performances and also this type of results, then we should be all very, very happy for being back at the top flight in our first season. But nevertheless, we are also striving in order to improve in several areas and show even better performances and if somehow possible, even better results. But we're also not too carried away and we don't lose a view on a realistic outcome of the season.